it's interested in private investment, it's interested in transparency, and it's interested in strategic independence.
Well, to further understand the relations between Namibia and these foreign powers, I spoke to Mr. Mbasa Mvenene, a political studies lecturer at South Africa's Walter Sisulu University, and I first asked him about the significance of America retaining close diplomatic ties with Namibia.
I think it's mainly because Namibia has maintained principled diplomacy. It's seen by the U.S. as stable, as democratic, and as reliable. So it has remained, for that reason, a consistent partner of the U.S., and we have seen this throughout different administrations.
What's in it for Namibia in these relations?
Well, most importantly, it's trade and investment, and then less importantly would be aid. Namibia has critical minerals. For instance, it has uranium, rare earths, cobalt, copper, right? And so these are the resources of the future, and they can fuel high-tech industries and clean energy. So the U.S. is trying to kind of reinforce its relations with Namibia to ensure that it doesn't depend on China for access to these critical minerals. And then for Namibia will be looking to gain in terms of access, like I said, to investments, to tech transfer, and geopolitical relevance. But most importantly, I think Namibia is looking to gain in terms of local value addition. As we all know, that value addition is critical for developing economies. It's critical for creating a large number of jobs, and it's also critical for ensuring that what is exported results in higher revenues for local industries.
I mean, I'm sure other countries are seeing those constant relations between the U.S. and Namibia. What does this mean, for example, in terms of how Namibia's foreign policy has evolved with a country like China?
China has now quite a central role in terms of Namibia's mining sector, but we should keep in mind that this is a race by these two world powers. Because let's keep in mind, for countries to rise to global prominence, they need to control critical resources or critical minerals. So, for instance, Britain controlled the seas in the 19th century, and in the following century, the U.S. had control of oil and finance, and both of these countries can be viewed as global powers. So now we're moving towards green energy. And the countries, mainly in the global south and some in Africa, including DR Congo, have a large supply of these resources like your lithium, uranium, copper, zinc, cobalt, and other rare earth minerals. And that is now the race, because whichever country is able to maintain good relations with these countries that have these resources of the future are trying to secure themselves as being influential global powers in the future or in the following century.
How does Namibia ensure that the deals and agreements that may be signed are structured in a way to favor Namibia's people, Namibia's industry, and so forth?
And I think what Namibia should do is they should try to avoid the so-called resource curse, right? So they should make it a point that they enter into deals with countries like the US or China that are mutually beneficial, and that that those deals can sustain prosperity for their people. So like I said, there should be investment in, for instance, infrastructure, transport, digital technologies, and so on. So they should ensure that there's, for instance, value addition. This shouldn't be a case where these resources are mined from the earth and then they are transported outside of Namibia. What should happen is there should be factories, firms, and plants, and all of that being built or established within Namibia to ensure that the people of Namibia can get access to those massive jobs, and that the Namibian government can gain access to export revenue in that regard.
Well, it's time now